Good morning, good evening, friends. Welcome to my channel Ek Kitab Se Ek Moti, which, when translated into English, means a pearl or gem from one book. Today, I'm going to read a small chapter from the book How to Be Motivated All the Time, written by Peter J. Daniels. Usually, I read a small portion, maybe a paragraph or two from books. But today I'm going to read the entire chapter. It's a small chapter, so I don't think it's going to take too long, maybe 5 minutes maximum. So, as I said, the title of the book is How to Be Motivated All the Time, written by Peter J. Daniels. I made a video on one of his books earlier. The book's title is How to Have the Awesome Power of Public Speaking. In that book, I talked about the importance of practice. If you want to really develop your communication skills, practice is essential. In this video, I'm going to talk about what it takes to be motivated all the time, as explained or described by Peter J. Daniels, and then I'm going to express my ideas using my own words and using my own thoughts. I hope I do justice to the ideas of Peter J. Daniels. So let me read from the chapter titled Have Long-Term Goals. So that's the title of the chapter I'm going to read from. Remember, this is an online book. I purchased it from one of the official websites of Peter J. Daniels. He has many. I think one of them is Don L, and the other is, I think, peterjdaniels.com, if I'm not mistaken. So he has quite a few websites. So the chapter that I'm going to read from today is titled Have Long-Term Goals. When you make a long-term goal, you are declaring to your mind, body, and spirit that all forces are in tune together, and come what may, it will be done. No back down, no defeat, no retreat. Remember, the language is very powerful. I think when Peter J. Daniels speaks or writes, you can sense that that power in his words, the power backed by action. So he's not just ATANA. I'm not sure whether you know what this abbreviation means. I don't think it's an acronym, so yeah, it's an abbreviation. It means all talk and no action. Nowadays, there are many who just talk, but their words are not backed by action. But Peter J. Daniels is definitely an exception. In my book, How to Reach Your Life Goals, I examined the premise that goals should be for life. The constant stream of letters and phone calls I receive from around the world indicates that message has struck home. All major achievers in any field of involvement are long-term goal setters. That is not to say that they do not set short-term goals. They do, but only as a filling or progressive step towards the ultimate goal. A permanently motivated person has long-term goals because long-term goals ensure motivational permanence. If you really are serious about developing a lifestyle of motivation, then now is the time to look into your long-term goals program for security and direction. I think it's also pronounced as direction. Psychologists and behavioral scientists have never been able to explain fully what happens to us when we commit our lives to worthy goals. History abounds with stories of remarkable achievements in all fields that were realized by an individual whose motivational thrust was akin to something supernatural. But careful examination will show that the motivation was an outworking of a long-term passionate goal. When you make a long-term goal, you are declaring to your mind, body, and spirit that all forces are in tune together, and come what may, it will be done. No back down, no defeat, no retreat. A commitment of that magnitude cannot help but push your very being into a motivational stance that almost defies description. Most people think and dream in the area of fantasy, hoping and expecting that somehow, someday, maybe those dreams will materialize. Long term committed goals turn fantasy thinking into fantastic thinking because they represent reality and action. While you fantasize, you are programming yourself to be content in the unrelated world of wishful thinking. But fantastic thinking takes a hard, firm grip on reality, nailing down principles and procedures. Having a long term goal provides a catalyst for motivation at every waking moment. All your senses are committed to a specific task and turn to a sharp focus. Your motivational thrust is excited because it always has a track on which to run. Often I meet and talk with some great achievers. The interesting thing to me is that people at ages long past retirement maintain their motivational edge because of their long term commitment. That can happen at all levels of society. I firmly believe that a long term goal committed to in totality and programmed with time frames can actually reprogram. I'm sorry, let me read this sentence again. I think I lost the flow. I firmly believe that a long term goal committed to in totality and programmed with time frames can actually reprogram your body clock and increase your lifespan as well as prolonging good health. Many people who move into a retirement situation, particularly men, without adequate provision for a long term commitment are not long for this world. My years of successful real estate involvement have shown me an indisputable pattern. Moving to a much smaller home and removing the commitments of daily life and struggles are sure signs of life termination. It is a sad but true fact. Why not program your body clock far past the normal years of retirement with a commitment now to a life goal which will stretch and grow and achieve until the end of your days? The simple principles of goal setting are as follows. Clearly define your goals. Set out your strategy. Plan out the problems. Build in reserves. Relate everything to a time frame. Create a master plan for achievement. Action, do it now. No one can vigorously pursue a lifestyle of motivation without receiving in return some sort of satisfaction. Short term goals very often give a rush of energy and excitement until the finish line, but there usually is a letdown after the prize has been won. Long term goals prolong satisfaction because, in an expandable goal, minor and major achievements are met within time frames. They form an intrinsic and important part of the whole long term goal. Life achievers are never satisfied with the status quo or even a major achievement. No, they press on even further after they seem to have reached the pinnacle and amaze us all with their higher achievement. What is their secret? It is really quite simple. They get their satisfaction out of being dissatisfied with present and past performance because they know they can always do more and do it better. I call it inspirational dissatisfaction, and used wisely and positively, it creates potent motivation and achievement. Make long term goals a part of your life's commitment and experience the exhilaration and the warmth of being motivated all the time. Now, he concludes it with a few lines that he calls motivators. A goal for life ensures motivational permanence. Long term goals create commitment. Long term goals turn fantasy into fantastic thinking. Long term goals can actually reprogram your body clock. So I think the chapter was short, but I think I apologize. I took more than 5 minutes. But let me now discuss this chapter, discuss some of the points that he mentioned, and discuss the importance of long-term goal setting. Earl Nightingale, in his great audio recording, which is available on YouTube, said, success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal or a worthy goal. So, as human beings, we need a target to keep us motivated. But should the target be a short term target or should it be a long-term target? That is, should it be a lifelong project, or should it just be something that we are going to achieve within the next few months or years, or maybe a decade or two? So I think we should have an ultimate goal in life. That should be our long-term project. But since we also need some feeling of achievement while we live, each year and each month maybe, and every decade, we need some satisfaction that we are achieving the short-term goals that we have set for ourselves. So what Peter J. Daniels suggests is that you do have a long-term goal, but you also have these short-term goals that lead up to that ultimate goal. So that keeps us motivated, and we also get this feeling of winning when we achieve our goals. So I think he's right in what he says, that we need long-term ultimate life goals. Now let me talk about why life goals are important. Now I read somewhere that after Neil Armstrong had landed on the moon, and when he returned to the earth after his spectacular achievement, he was depressed for quite a few days, because that was his goal, to land on the moon, to reach the moon. And once he had achieved that goal, he did not look forward to another exciting goal in his life. So the problem is that he did not have a lifelong goal, something that will take his entire lifetime for its achievement. So it's important to have a goal that will take our entire life, that will keep us engaged until our last breath. So the question is, how do we create these long-term goals, or how do we frame them? So as we do with all other goals, life goals should have some time limit, but the thing is, we don't know how long we are going to live. So I think in one of his lectures, Peter J. Daniels says, what he says is that these life goals should be expandable. So for example, let's say someone's life goal is to establish a company, start a firm, or some kind of business. And let's say his life goal is to start a business in maybe 10 countries and employ 1,000 employees, and to provide certain types of products of great quality. Now, this goal can be expanded if the person lives long enough and he has more years of active life ahead of him or her, because these are numbers. So the goal said that the person wanted to establish 10 companies. So now, since he has more life in him or her, the person can decide to start more companies in more countries, and can employ more employees than 1,000, and provide newer products and better services. So that's what I think what Peter J. Daniels means by the word expandable goals. So the joy of living, I think I shouldn't say joy of living, I think one of the joys of living is that we have some goals that we are looking forward to achieving in the future. So if we have this futuristic vision in life, it keeps us motivated, and a lifelong goal will keep us motivated until we live. That's the title of this book, How to Be Motivated All the Time. So there are quite a few chapters in this that talks about motivation for the entire life, but I think that the main idea of this book is that there should be a lifelong goal. So I would suggest that you have a notebook for your goals. So the major goal should be written down. That should be your main part of the goal setting notebook. But you also need to have short-term goals to keep you motivated while you work towards attaining your major goal. I remember a great idea by one person called, I think, I just remember his surname, Drummond, and he was called a bulldog, I think. He had, he was a salesman in the US, and I think his story is mentioned in this, in the book How to Sell Yourself by Joe Girard, if I'm not mistaken. So he gave an excellent idea. That is Bulldog Drummond. I think he was called Bulldog Drummond. He was a salesman. So he used to have this way of setting short-term goals. So he used to say to himself, if I achieve a particular sales target by, let's say, by the end of this year, that I'm going to take my family out for a vacation, or take them to Disneyland, or some other great place to visit. So that way he used to connect some kind of fun activity with the attainment of his short-term goals. So that used to keep him motivated. So for example, he used to imagine the difficult target of selling his product. He had to travel long distance. He had to go through deserted roads and travel a long distance, in his car, and had to visit a lot of customers or prospects, and make a lot of calls. So he used to imagine all these tiring activities that lay in front of him. But what added to his joy or fun was that he knew that if he achieved the sales target, he was going to have a vacation. So he used to connect some activity of pleasure with these activities of hard work and difficulty and sweat and toil and so on. So this is one way of enjoying the attainment of your goals. That is, you connect a way of rewarding yourself. I mean, so you connect an activity that is going to reward yourself. So for instance, if you achieve your short-term goal, then you reward yourself by maybe you take your family out for a dinner, or you order some nice food from some kind of online portals, right? I mean, Swiggy or Zomato or whatever. Anyhow, that's one of the things that I do. I order some really good food, when I achieve some short-term goals of mine. So that can be one thing that you can do. So I hope you liked this video. I'm going to make some more videos on some of the other books of Peter J. Daniels. I think some of my favorite books are these. Let me see if I can get some of the upcoming books that I'm going to talk about. So one is going to be How to Handle a Major Crisis. Peter J. Daniels says that this book helped many people overcome thoughts of suicide because they were in distress, and reading his book saved many lives. The other one is Living on the Edge, his autobiography. And yes, one of my favorite books, Miss Phillips, You Are Wrong. It's about his teacher who used to discourage him, who used to slap him, kick him, and used to tell him that he was a bad boy and that he was not going to amount to anything in life. So she actually had programmed him negatively, and that was one of the reasons Peter J. Daniels says that he found it difficult to achieve much in his life until the age of 26, when he had a spiritual experience. And then I'm going to make a video on a Christian code of conduct, and then his book that I read completely. I think I have read it twice, How to Be Happy Though Rich. And one more book that I'm going to make a video on is Willpower, the Integrity of the Soul. So all these books are life-changing, and I recommend his books. So I think you can just Google him, just type his name, Peter J. Daniels, and also type the word books. So Peter J. Daniels books, and you'll get a link to his official website. Buy his books from official website, because I think there might be some pirated copies of fake websites, so just beware of those fake links. So thanks for watching, friends. Please keep waiting for more videos of this type.